anyone that just loves a little bit of that dainty expression of sort of like fun and flirty, those are really, really sweet. Okay. We have a very special designer here, and her name is Kristin Chenoweth. And you know, if you know anything about Kristin, she's dainty and she's tiny and she packs a big punch. She's Broadway musical star, she's an actress, and she brings us some very heartfelt pieces. So I wanna show you a couple of them this morning. We're gonna start off with showing you some of her earrings that she has designed. These are CZ earrings, and we have, the first two are called From Above Moon and Star. So you can see that it's actually a stud in the front, and then this beautiful drop, kind of like the star and the moon. They are in the yellow tone, and they are in the silver tone. Now these are sterling silver, and then this is sterling silver with the gold metal plating on top. So that makes it really nice. They both are for pierced ears, and you can see that the star is encrusted with gorgeous clear pave crystals. Then we also have these adorable flower earrings, and the flower earrings have movement. They dangle just a little bit. We also have those in the yellow tone or the silver, so sterling silver. They still have this beautiful pave set, round stones, and they have a lot of movement. And I know these are called Always Growing, and Kristin had mentioned that the Always Growing sort of symbolized the blooming of a flower. So things that are ever changing, things that are always evolving. You know, where are you going? Where are you heading? Is it limitless? So I like that behind all of her pieces, there's a story. And for you, that may be exactly what it is. There could be a story, whether you like the stars or the moon, or maybe the floral pieces. But it's really pretty to be able to have such a delicate symbol, a delicate touch. These are on clearance. Whichever set you pick, they are 60% off, so they're $23.95. The star earrings, I have about 190 of them. So your choice of either the gold-plated over sterling silver or the sterling silver. And then you can see Sonia is wearing the flower earrings, which I have about 200 of. Again, choice of the gold-plated sterling silver or the sterling silver. So these are just, if you know anyone, especially with birthdays or anniversaries, or maybe you know someone that, you know, you're starting to shop ahead for graduation or baby showers, these are those little inspirational pieces, especially if someone signifies themselves with a specific, you know, a star and a moon or the flower. One of my very best friends, her mom always tells her to shine, shine, shine. And so stars are really significant to her. So I like that these are both very dreamy, sweet, dainty pieces. You have your choice of them for $23.95. If you have an HSN card, it's $11.98. So you have your choice of the sterling silver. All of them have beautiful encrusted round, clear, encrusted pave set stones. And then the flowers are, they're both for pierced ears, but the flowers have a beautiful dangling feature, whereas the star and the moon are more of a fixed earring. And they do easily come apart. So I'll just show you quickly here. If you wanted, on the star and the moon, if you actually chose to, you could just wear the star as a stud. You would need to use your own back, but you can see that they come apart. So there's the moon and there's the star. So it connects, it's two pieces. So this actually, the moon actually goes behind your ear, and then the star goes in front. So if you just wanted something to change, you could actually just wear the star, and that would be really, really sweet to just do. Or it's really easy, you just slide those in, and then you have that beautiful star at the top, hanging moon at the bottom. Those don't dangle, but the flowers do dangle. So the flowers have more movement, a little more dance with the light. And I like that they have an open sort of piece to the flower, but those are 60% off, your choice, $23.